All right, everyone, a quick recap of day number 7 of the World Cup. So let's get to it. First game today was Portugal against the Democratic Republic of Congo. Another upset on this one. I'm not going to be like many other places out there and start by talking about the negative in Portugal. I'm going to start by praising the Democratic Republic of Congo. I love the way they played today. They set up defensively very well. Their left and right backs, Wan-Bissaka and Masuki, played very well. They played great today. I thought they set up very well. It did not start well for them, it must be said. They were down one goal to nil after 5 minutes, and at that moment in time, after 5-6 minutes, you're thinking like, uh-oh, this could get ugly for the Congo. They're 1-0 down already. Portugal could get comfortable with the game. This could get ugly, but the game ended up going in a different direction. Congo set themselves up defensively very well. They didn't get rattled by the fact that they were 1-0 down. They just stuck to their game plan, and it worked very well. And they deservedly got a point from this game. Very impressive by the Democratic Congo. The African teams in general at this World Cup have been quite impressive, we have to be said. Even though there's only been one win by African teams, only Ivory Coast has actually won a game. But all things considered, many African teams got draws away from games that you really would not expect them to get draws. Like, for example, this game, Portugal, among the favorites to win the whole World Cup. Congo managed to come on and grab a draw against Portugal. Cape Verde grabbed a draw against Spain the other day. No one was expecting them to do that. Egypt grabbed a draw against Egypt. Many great results for African teams so far. So quite impressive by African teams. So as far as Portugal now, let's talk about Portugal. Not a great performance by them today. Obviously, the great conversation about Portugal right now is around Cristiano Ronaldo and what his role is on this team. The way Portugal set up with Ronaldo as the main striker, he was very isolated in there. He no longer has the speed. So also, talking about the positive with Congo, they set themselves high up very well. They pressed up high because they know that Ronaldo no longer has the speed to get in behind the defense. So it suits them. It suits Congo very well. But it's a negative for Portugal because it makes them very predictable. It takes away that threat from going in behind. So it's not great. And Roberto Martinez, he's not my favorite coach. In my opinion, Portugal deserves a higher caliber coach than Roberto Martinez. Okay. They have a great midfield with Portugal. In my opinion, Portugal has the best midfield in the entire World Cup, possibly. Okay. They have João Neves, they have Vitinha, they have Bruno Fernandes, the leading assist taker in the Premier League. They have Bernardo Silva that can come in for a full role there as well. Their midfield is absolutely incredible, but they didn't play well today. Even though João Neves, the smallest man in the field, scored a goal after 5 minutes, it just very much phased away from there. So not a great performance from Portugal today. And ultimately, I mean, around this Ronaldo conversation as well, so something that many people are not talking about. Okay, yes, Ronaldo is 41 years old. He no longer has the speed that he used to have. He is a goal poacher in the box. You need to provide Cristiano Ronaldo service in order for him to score. He did have great stats this past season in the Arab League, but this is another level here, the World Cup, right? You do need to get him service, and he no longer has the speed. So Ronaldo's not the kind of player like, for example, like Harry Kane. For example, Harry Kane can drop back, play a false nine role, and can contribute in the game in other ways. Okay, he can drop back, he can assist players, provide great passes, and help in many other ways in the game. Ronaldo does not offer much else at this moment in time in his career. Earlier in his career, obviously, he had the speed, he had the dribbling skills, he could contribute in many other ways. Not the case now at 41 years of age with Ronaldo. The debate with Ronaldo that not many analysts are talking about, okay, yes, that is an issue with Ronaldo. Are there strikers that Portugal can rely on and replace Ronaldo with that can contribute with goals? Reliable goal scorers, let's call it. That is the debate right now. Obviously, the most natural fit that could substitute Ronaldo would be Gonçalo Ramos, who plays for PSG. He substituted Ronaldo in a game in the last World Cup, and he happened to score a hat-trick in that knockout game against Switzerland, where Portugal happened to win 6-1. But other than that game, Gonçalo Ramos hasn't been that reliable goal scorer. So long as or rather I say Portugal doesn't have that reliable goal scorer that could replace Ronaldo, it kind of fits that narrative that, well, let's just leave Ronaldo in there. Nothing else, he's proven to be a reliable goal scorer throughout his career. Even if it has not been the case recently, it must be said, Ronaldo, I saw a statistic earlier today that Ronaldo hasn't scored in his last 5 World Cup games, and he has not scored in his last 10 games in major competitions. So major competitions mean World Cup, Euros, etc. So it's a problem for Portugal. And as I was saying, I am not the biggest fan of Roberto Martinez. I don't think he's a bad coach, okay? I'm going to get that out there. And he's not a bad coach. But I think Portugal could do better than Roberto Martinez, if I'm perfectly honest. I think Portugal, I should say, the caliber of the squad they have a great squad. Possibly one of the best squads they've ever had, Portugal, in their entire history. Okay, and I think Roberto Martinez doesn't quite match up to that caliber of the squad that they have. That is my opinion. Okay, I think he's done great work, Roberto Martinez, throughout his career. Remember when he coached Wigan, coached them to an FA Cup title against Manchester City. He's had accomplishments, Roberto Martinez, in his career. I just think Portugal deserves better. That's my opinion. Okay, all right, going on to the next game, England against Croatia. Wow, I have to say, I was quite impressed by England today. I don't remember the last time we saw such great attacking play by England under Southgate, even though England played in a very effective way against Southgate. More often than not, they would get results. It was an ugly game. It was not a good game to watch. You go and watch a game on TV and see, like, it's not you don't really enjoy watching England games under Southgate. Okay, they were not enjoyable to watch, even though they were more often than not they were effective. Okay, but they reached the finals against Spain, reached Spain in the Euros, reached the quarterfinals against France in 2022, and reached the final against Italy in Euro 2000. Really was 2001, but came up short in those times. So they weren't great to watch. England were great to watch today. Great attacking play, great movement on the attacking end. Anderson at midfield was great. Harry Kane, my goodness, what can I say about this guy? I wish my national team, Brazil, had a player like him. He's absolutely incredible. He not only scored 2 goals, as if that wasn't good enough, okay, scoring 2 goals. He drops back, plays the false 9, provides great passes. In the very last minute of the game, I think was well into stoppage time, he goes at the defensive end at a corner and provides a block to prevent Croatia from scoring what would have been a 3rd goal. So impressive, Harry Kane. And it's great as well that, unlike other strikers, Harry Kane contributes in other ways. Obviously, players are different, okay? But I love Harry Kane. He's amazing. And Jude Bellingham as well. He's a different player for a national team compared to, for example, Jude Bellingham did not have a great season for Real Madrid this past season. Not at all. But you would not be able to tell that just by watching Jude Bellingham play for England today. He played great, scored the goal. He's a key part of that midfield, a classic box-to-box midfielder. Wow, another player I wish that Brazil had. But yeah, England played great today. Croatia, I was not impressed with them today. I have to say, I didn't like the way they set up. Even though you got to first and foremost give credit to England. Okay, there is the argument to say England were so good that they made Croatia not play so poorly. But I didn't like the way Croatia reacted after conceding the goals. Honestly, in the second half, Croatia, if it weren't for Livakovic, the goalkeeper, they could have conceded 5-6. Okay, the Croatian goalkeeper made wonderful saves in that second half. It could have been much worse if it wasn't for him. Okay, so I didn't like the way Croatia played, even though they've accomplished great things in the past. Obviously, they knocked out my national team, Brazil, in 2022. They knocked out England in the semifinals of the 2018, made it all the way to the final. They've accomplished great things in the past, but it's a very much an aging squad. I didn't like the way they played today. Kudos to Croatia for everything they've accomplished in the last 8 years or so, but I didn't like their performance today, and I did not like the way they reacted to conceding those England goals, the way they were set up defensively. I thought they made it easier for England to play well. Even though you have to give merit to England, I felt like the way Croatia set up defensively, it made it easier for England to do what they did. But I still feel like in the grand context of things, I feel like both England and Croatia are going to be the top two in this group, barring a big upset, which you can't rule out an upset. If anything this World Cup has taught us in this first round of games is that upsets are not only possible, but they're very likely. So but before a ball was kicked, you would have bet England and Croatia would be top two. But we'll see what happens. I feel like they'll be fine, but we'll see what happens. Now, going on to the next game now, Ghana against Panama. I was very surprised with the way Panama set themselves up in this game, okay? I was expecting Panama to play more of a counter-attacking style of football, suck up the pressure and really build up on counterattacks and be more effective on counterattacks and try to score goals that way. No, they went at it at Ghana, and they played very well, and really a defeat for Panama is very cruel on Panama. If you watch this game, the way that they played, they probably, arguably, actually played better in the whole of the 90 minutes. They played better than Ghana, but they got hit on the counterattack, got hit on the sucker punch at the last minute, and conceded a goal. And this defeat is very damaging for Panama, knowing what is to come for Panama. They still have to play England. They still have to play Croatia, who on paper are their two strongest team of the groups. So both teams on this game, both Ghana and Panama, they had this first game circled on their calendar. This is the game for both Panama and Ghana. This is the game they have to win, the game today, in order for them to have a chance. Because they're already counting on the fact that they're likely probably going to lose against England, and especially watching the great attacking play by England today. I feel like England is likely going to get 9 points, honestly, on this group. Unless, England get into a situation where they win their second game and going into the third game, they're, because of head-to-head and how matchups work, England are already guaranteed first place. Maybe they rest their starters in their last game, and maybe either Ghana or Panama has a chance that way. But barring something like that happening, I expect England to get 9 points, okay? Yeah, Croatia, when they play Ghana, Croatia will be massive favorites in that. But who knows? We've seen stranger things happen at this World Cup. We saw Cape Verde tying Spain, for crying out loud. Yeah, we wouldn't expect that. So I guess stranger things have happened, but you would expect Croatia to beat Ghana and Panama as well. But we'll see what ends up happening. I'm sure there'll be upsets, throughout this group. But this is a huge win for Ghana, even though they didn't play well. Ghana no longer has the great generations of the past. They still have Ayew, who plays for Leicester now, on the team. He was still on the team way back in 2010 at the peak of the Ghana generation, back when they had Asamoah Appiah, when they had Muntari, they had all those great players in 2010. That was really the peak of Ghana. But this Ghana team really far away from that. They have Semenyo, who is the focal point of their attacks. But other than that, they don't really excite you anywhere else. And they did not play well today. As I said, Panama played better than Ghana in this game, but Ghana knew how to suffer. And, they had a shot for a penalty, must be said. Okay, Ghana. They probably should have gotten a penalty in the second half. Okay, so even though Panama actually played better than Ghana, Ghana's going to turn around and say, we should have had a penalty in the second half. So maybe justice was done at the end of the day. This is a huge win for Ghana. Okay. I still feel that, statistically, they are likely, if, probabilities follow themselves correctly and Ghana were to lose to Croatia and England, I still say they are facing an uphill battle to try to qualify for the next knockout rounds as one of the top 8 first place teams, because if logic follows, they would lose to Croatia and England, and their goal differential is at +1 now. So, yeah, I'm not sure if I see them being one of the 8 best third place teams. But it's like I talked about before. We saw so many upsets in this World Cup. Maybe Ghana's going to upset Croatia. Maybe they're going to go on and maybe they beat Croatia. Maybe they get a tie against Croatia. If Ghana can so much get a tie against Croatia, then they'll be in a fantastic position, and almost certainly they'll be in the top eight third best place teams if they get another tie. I think if Ghana were to lose their remaining 2 games, they're banking on the fact of not losing by a big margin against England, which I feel like that's a tough ask, because this England team looks really good, and I think England might put a rout against both Ghana and Panama. So we'll see how they fare. It should be good. But like I said, we can't bank on anything in this World Cup. You know, the expectation would be that Ghana would lose to Croatia and England, but stranger things have happened. Stranger things have happened this World Cup. Should be exciting to see. Yeah, this Croatia team didn't look very good today, so they have reason to be concerned as well. We'll see how it turns out. So, last game today was, Colombia against Uzbekistan. Was a great game today. Uzbekistan making their World Cup debut. First time in the World Cup. Well, I'm not going to count back in the Soviet Union. Back when the Soviet Union was officially Uzbekistan. But as independent nation, Uzbekistan, first time in the World Cup, they actually managed to score a goal. I thought like the scoreline 3-1 actually flattered Colombia. Okay. I thought Colombia deserved to win this game. Don't get me wrong. I thought they deserved to win this game. But I didn't think that they were 2 goals better than Uzbekistan, if I'm being totally honest. Okay, I thought they were a bit better. I think 2-1 might have been a more accurate reflection of what transpired in the game. I thought Colombia were more clinical in their attacks. Uzbekistan, they created some chances, but they were not always clinical with the chances they created. Obviously, their first World Cup appearance. So, but I was quite impressed, even if, I still have a hard feeling of how, Cannavaro is now a coach of Uzbekistan. The original Uzbekistan coach that actually qualified them for this World Cup was, in my opinion, unfairly sacked before the start of this World Cup. And they hired Cannavaro, who doesn't exactly have a great coaching resume. He was a great player, no argument there. He won the World Cup with Italy, but Cannavaro does not have a great coaching resume. Hasn't done a great job in the Italian team. So that really left a sour taste in my mouth, how the Uzbekistan FA just, fired the Uzbek coach that actually got them to the World Cup. So that left me a sour taste in my mouth. So anyway, but in terms of their performance today, Uzbekistan, I was quite impressed with them. Even if they made some defensive mistakes there that made them pay. So it is what it is. It's their first World Cup appearance. They have a tough group here with them. Obviously, they play Portugal, I believe, next, and Portugal will be licking their wounds after the bad performance against Congo today. I fear a little bit for Uzbekistan in that Portugal game, because you don't want to play a wounded Portugal. Portugal are wounded right now, and they could put a good performance against Uzbekistan, which from Uzbekistan's point of view is not good. Obviously Uzbekistan doesn't want that. They need points. Obviously, what might define this group might be Congo against Uzbekistan, and that will be at the very last round of games. That will almost certainly determine this group. Congo obviously played more effective football. I thought they played much better. Obviously, Congo, I think, is looking in better shape as we speak right now. But it should be interesting to see how this group shapes up. Colombia played great today. I thought they were very clinical. As I mentioned, Luis Diaz is playing out of his mind right now in Bayern Munich, and he played great today as well. So he hit the post. In fact, today was very unlucky to not score more than 1 goal. So Colombia was great today. James, it's incredible how good James plays for Colombia, even though at club level, he's never been actually recognized as a club player. You always associate James Rodriguez with Colombia. So yeah, he's a legend for Colombia. But yes, I think Colombia and Portugal are still my favorites to be top 2 in that group. It's looking good for them. Even if Portugal didn't play well today, I still fancy them to get within the top 2 in the group. Should be interesting to see. And well, today was the last day for the first round of games. So now every team in the World Cup has played one game. Starting tomorrow, it will be the second round of games. Mexico and Canada, two of the co-hosts, will play tomorrow. Should be some great games tomorrow. We're looking forward to it.